Today we're up in the Great Smoky Mountains testing out a new trail camera, the H8 Wi-Fi Bluetooth trail camera provided by the people at Dsoon. And it's a Wi-Fi Bluetooth enabled game camera. Similar to a lot of other game cameras on the market, and it's becoming kind of the standard now to have good resolution and Wi-Fi capability. It's a simple, neat, uncluttered camera that I found to be, working with the last 2 weeks, found it to be quite useful. And it's really pretty straightforward and similar to so many other cameras on the market, but it has a few things that I really like about it. One is it'll hold a 512 gigabyte SD card, which is a big help for leaving out in the field for long periods of time, especially if you film mostly in video like I do. It'll also take videos up to 10 minutes long, and it has a 0.2 second trigger speed, and you can record video for up to 10 minutes. So when you're recording those kind of videos, you really do need to have a large card. Now, the other thing to remember with when you record, when you have a 512 gigabyte capability, is you got to have the power to do that. And just like pretty much all trail cams, operates off of 8 AA batteries, but it also has a solar panel unit that was provided to test out, and it works quite well as long as you're in a situation where you can reach where you can get sun, and it'll charge by the sun, but you can also use a USB cable to charge it the first time, especially by computer, and it just simply connects to the camera at the bottom here through a port. And the only thing I would say would be nicer to have a little bit of a longer cable, but actually it works fine. I mean, what you do is you have a mounting bracket for both the solar unit and the camera, and this mounting bracket's a little bit quite a bit of improvement over some of the other mounting brackets I've had recently. It's got it looks like some aluminum parts on it, and it uses Allen wrenches to tighten it up, which is a whole lot easier than using wing nut screws or regular screws or anything like that. So, the mounting bracket is not a make or break item, but at least it's an improvement over some of the other ones. And a nice mounting strap. And of course you have a mounting strap and a bracket also for the solar charger. Now, I've just gotten out of the habit of really buying a lot of AA batteries, and I use either solar panels, which pay for themselves pretty quickly, or the other option too, in some of the cases like up here in the mountains, I have a trail camera set up down in the stream where it's pretty shady and hidden from the sun. And so a solar charger in that case wouldn't work. So what I do is I just run an extension cord down there and get a DC adapter that's are available online. You can usually get a DC adapter for a trail cam that has a variety of adapters for the power supply that'll fit. And so there's really you're gonna burn through batteries if you're taking a lot of long videos, especially videos at night. It's not necessary to burn through batteries anymore when you can get affordable solar panels and even DC adapters if you need be. So we'll turn on the Dsoon trail camera, and I was really pretty happy with the trail camera. Of course, when it comes to testing trail cameras, the one thing you want to do is show a lot of examples, and I'll just show inset examples all along while I'm talking. When it's in test or setup mode, you can go through the menus and set up your camera the way you like. Went through all the menus on the Wi-Fi app, so I'll save time by doing that later. So I really recommend a solar panel and or a DC adapter run to an extension cord, depending on if it's in your backyard. A setup like that, you might be able to run an extension cord, and you can pick up DC power adapters pretty easily. Now, these power packs here are, they'll recharge on their own in the sun, but you can also charge them up on your computer or any kind of a USB charger on this port here, and then just plug this into a USB charger. So overall, I found this to be a nice unit. I have different strategies for different trail cameras. This particular camera, with its 512 gigabyte capacity, this one I might use because I've used other trail cameras that were pretty good trail cameras, but they had 128 gigabyte maximum storage capacity. Well, if I go away for a couple of weeks and I get typically might see up to 300 or 400 videos of 1 to 2 minutes in length is what I usually shoot, somewhere between 1 and 3 minutes. But it won't take long in an active area to fill up a 128 gigabyte card. In fact, I just got up here to the mountains, was gone for about a little over 2 weeks, and my 128 gigabyte card in the one trail camera I was using was full and had been sitting idle for 7 days, not collecting any data because the card was full. Now this will allow you to collect a lot of data. It also has a option that you can set where it'll start to once it does get full, it'll start to overwrite the earlier files. So it'll be like it'll always be writing something. It'll never just stop. And that's an option that you have for a strategy you can work into whatever it is you're trying to do. So it's a lot of flexibility. So we'll look at some examples and go through the Wi-Fi app and show how that works, because a lot of people are interested in the Wi-Fi, and I get a lot of feedback where people are saying that the Wi-Fi doesn't work, or they get confused over the Wi-Fi. The thing to remember is, if you have, let's say for example, you record a 2.5-3 minute video at 4K resolution, we're talking about a file that's going to be easily a half a gigabyte in size, and probably larger, somewhere between 500 to 700 megabyte. And I hear from people who are trying to download that file via the Wi-Fi connection from their camera to their phone and saying it takes forever. Well, I mean, that's not really the Wi-Fi is to control the camera and to review what you have. And certainly you can download pictures by Wi-Fi, but the idea of downloading large 4K videos from this camera to your phone by Wi-Fi is not really realistic. It's not, you're not, at this price point, you're not paying for internet service. You don't have a high-speed ISP provider. You just have a Wi-Fi link between this camera and your phone. So to think that you're going to have, dozens of large videos on your camera and then you're just going to quickly download them to your phone, that's not realistic. So sometimes people have unrealistic expectations just going in if they're new to these cameras. What I use the Wi-Fi for is to review from a distance what's on my camera without going down and disturbing the camera and opening it up. And the other thing too is, if you see something really interesting on your camera, you can preview it without downloading it, and that's what I do a lot to see if I got anything. So if I have anything really good on there, I might want to go down and take the disc out and save it. If nothing, if everything looks fine, I'll just leave it go and check it in a couple of days. So to me, the Wi-Fi Bluetooth setup just makes it simple to set the camera up, get your field of view set up the way you want it, and monitor it. Okay, I've got the Dsoon Trail Camera over on the deck rail looking out at the mountains. I'm going to run through the Wi-Fi application, which actually is called Gcam Pro, which you download using the QR code that comes in the box or in the instruction manual. Now the thing is, you turn on the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth in advance before you open up the app, and I think that's where some of the problems arise if you don't do that first. So then you execute the app, you connect the camera, and you can see the Trail Cam Pro identified. When you do this, you have to make sure that the Trail Cam has fresh batteries and is in the on position, and then you connect, and it says it could take up to 50 seconds to wait. It varies. During this process, the Bluetooth is connected with the trail camera, and then the Bluetooth wakes up the Wi-Fi. Okay, so then it says connect to the device, and I say connect, and it's connecting. And now you have your menu. You're connected to the via Wi-Fi to the trail cam, and you can look at what's on your card. And the nice thing about this, it comes with an included card, so you can see it's sitting over on the rail there, and I took a few pictures, photos and videos. So this is where you can review what you've captured. Now you go back and look at your information, and this is going to give you your live view. And there's the live view of the camera looking out over the mountains. It shows your storage availability, number of files, and your remaining battery. Then you can go back to the home screen and look at your settings. And you can, for the most part, you can set your settings through the app. Especially if you have a situation like I do, where you have the trail camera is located in a remote location, you know, set up with a special design with, rocks, and you want to catch a certain view, and you don't want to like remove the trail cam and start all over again. So you want to do your adjustments and you're looking at your data without disturbing the camera. So you can change your mode: photo, video, photo and video. I usually use photo and video. Photo resolution, which goes up to 32 megapixels and as low as 1 megapixel. Photo series, and this is kind of nice. Most trail cameras don't have the option to shoot a burst of 10 photos in a series. I usually have it set at 3 photos in a series, but if you really want to catch some fast action, you can set it to 10 photos in a series, which is a nice option that most trail cameras don't have. Video resolution, it gives you various resolutions and your frame speeds. Now, the one thing is that the 4K video runs at 20 frames per second. You know, I would prefer it to run to 30 frames per second, but 20 frames per second is okay. And then it has your standard HD at 30 frames per second. But the one thing that it really has is kind of nice is it has 1280 by 720 at 60 frames per second. And at 60 frames per second, it really can capture some fast action video and really give you some smooth captures. So you got a lot of options here, from 4K at lower frame rate all the way down to 1280 by 720 at a high frame rate. So you can it kind of depends on what you're going to use it for. You can experiment with that. And you can do a time-lapse video. One thing I really like about this Dsoon trail camera is it gives you an option up to a 10-minute video length. And usually I use 1, 2, or 3 minutes, but a 10-minute length for a video is a nice option. The other thing too is with shot lag. Some of the other video cameras, trail cameras I've used, has a minimum of 10 seconds shot lag. This one you can go down to 5 seconds shot lag. So you can shoot a video, the video ends, you have 5 seconds, then if the animals are still active, you can trigger another one within 5 seconds, so you get less missed data. So having the ability to reset the video every 5 seconds is nice, and of course auto recording on or off. The audio in this is pretty good. Some of the trail cameras have poor audio, and audio is kind of important to me. I would say this audio here is acceptable. It's not outstanding, but but it's certainly acceptable and better than a lot of other cameras that I've been using lately. And that's one thing that I'd like to see addressed is better audio in the future. But the audio is fine for your needs. Side motion sensors, turning them on or off. I always leave the side motion sensors on, simply because you really do trigger early detection with even things like small birds and squirrels or large mammals coming in from the side. Sensitivity you can adjust to low, medium, and high. I'm working with mostly small creatures like birds and smaller mammals, so I keep that on high. Target recording time, if you want to set up a specific time or exclude a specific time. For example, maybe you only want to shoot a daytime scenes, or maybe you only want to shoot nighttime scenes. This is where you set this up. Endless capture just means you can leave that on and you will not miss any data. So when you're thinking about endless captures and time lapses and 10-minute videos, the one thing that's really nice about the Dsoon trail camera is that it has a storage capacity of up to 512 gigabytes, which is pretty nice. Most trail cameras don't have that large of a storage capacity, and that really allows you a lot of flexibility in leaving this out in the field for a long time and capturing higher resolution videos and longer videos, or super high resolution photography with 10 burst shots. And of course you're setting your time and date is pretty straightforward. Just standard little menus there. password protection and a photo stamp. It's all standard stuff. Beep sound, I actually usually leave that off. And you can put a password protection on it. Of course, format the memory card. One of the first things you do before you even use the trail camera is to put in the memory card and format it. Wi-Fi setting, which has a straightforward password of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can change that obviously after you get it if you want to make it a little more secure. And really that's running through. You can run through the whole menu and make changes right on the Wi-Fi app. Now, one thing I'll say about the Wi-Fi app, a lot of people have problems with Wi-Fi apps. One thing I noticed is I got a new a Motorola Edge 5G ultra-wide phone, which is supposed to be a state-of-the-art phone, but it will not connect properly through the app, through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi with a number of the trail cameras that I have. Whereas some friends of mine with Galaxies and Apples, they just connect just like, you know, like super fast. So, you know, there is a variability in how certain smartphones work with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth with these trail cameras, and it's not always the problem of the trail camera or the app. For example, I actually use this older phone sometimes. That still works well. It's just not, he doesn't even have service, but you know, an old cell phone that you have kicking around that might actually do a better job of being your trail camera phone that you carry with you, because it's just a local connection. You're just turning on Bluetooth, connecting to the trail camera via Bluetooth, turning on the little Wi-Fi system in the trail camera, and then it connects. And when I see some people that are new to trail cameras, they see that no internet service. Well, obviously you're not going to have any internet service. It's strictly a little Wi-Fi network between the app on your phone and the trail camera so that you can control it. So let's go back to the main menu and again look at the card. You know, to me the app that comes with the Dsoon Trail Camera, the Wi-Fi app, is just as robust as any of the other ones I've used. With some, actually, you know, I don't even get a trail camera or a camera anymore that's not Wi-Fi enabled. It's just so much easier to manage the workflow with your trail cameras with Wi-Fi. And so I would say that, you know, this is, you know, the app that comes with this is certainly sufficient and typical of what comes with the higher end trail cameras, and has worked fairly well. So as you can see, I just went through the entire menu setting. So I would say that this is pretty typical of the trail cameras, Wi-Fi trail cameras that are available there now. Has a good trigger speed. Had a lot of fun working with it. It picks up on birds and small mammals, and has good coverage of a large area for larger animals. So overall, I have to say it's a real nice trail camera, and I've tried a lot of different ones, and this is you know, basically what you would expect at this price point. Typically now they're around, a good Wi-Fi, you know, 30 megapixel Wi-Fi Bluetooth enabled trail camera. Can be had anywhere from, you know, $99 to $149 and various sale prices and all that. The Dsoon one seems to be really well built, nice fit and finish, and I had a lot of fun testing it out.